Hey, YouTube, David here, Jesus. All right, tonight's just, I'm not going to make it a long video. I'm just going to be mainly doing some commentary. I'm going to show you a section of the Bible. Uh, First of all, hit the thumbs up, share these videos, share my channel, subscribe to the channel, comment. Actually, tonight, I'm doing this video. I'm really going to ask you to comment because something came to mind today while I was driving and I'm listening to some of the stuff going on in Iran and everything, Iran, trying to get the Iran in there because I think that's the way it's more pronounced because the I over there sounds like an E. Uh, but while I was driving and I'm listening to about Iran's new weapons, the something 4 missile. It's the one that sends off a bunch of other, when it gets close to where it's supposed to go, it sends off other little things to blow up. And, I'm tired, long day. Uh, she something for it's named after some town anyway. But I'm listening to this, and this guy's running down a bunch of other stuff, and then and all of a sudden it hit my mind, and it's like, this kind of sounds like the story of David and Goliath. The United States and Israel being Goliath, and Iran being David. Now, before we get into that, before I go into that, okay, David of Psalm 89.net, this website is up and live. I was told today they did get the second book on there, but I'm not seeing it yet. She said she still got to talk to the web designers to get them to go ahead and turn it on or something. I don't know. Uh, but she said she did get it uploaded today. Uh, Shouldn't be that much longer. They'll be available for sale. But at the same time, David of Psalm 89, I believe it's still live. Let me refresh it. Let me make sure. Oh, no, they might have took David of Psalm 89.com down. So where did I have that? Yeah. Okay, they've taken it down. I've asked them to. Uh, Apparently, it looks like David of Psalm 89.com is no longer going to be there. David of Psalm 89.com is parked free courtesy of GoDaddy.com. So I don't know what all that means, and I'm not going to look into it. All right, David of Psalm 89.net. Now let me see, go back to that. I'm going to go back. I don't think the books are. Let's just click on the 8th book. See if they're able to buy yet. I doubt it. No, the store can't accept payments yet. They're still getting that set up. She did contact me today. They needed to me to send a picture of my driver's license. The other day they asked me for it, but they needed the front and back of it. It's all for reasons of whatever. But sometime this week they should be available to buy because DavidOSalm89.com is no longer available apparently, which I'm kind of glad. I don't know about if the books are still. She told me that she's working with Amazon to get all the books from UR Link pulled off there because all the republication and the publication of the 9th book, they're all going to be on Amazon, but now they're all going to be published by me. Now they're not going to be published by UR Link. And I want UR Link's books on there no more because they went out of business. They're not going to pay me the royalties from it. and they shouldn't be, when they went out of business like they did, they shouldn't make money off of the books that they start selling, which I think that's getting ready to happen because you're all getting ready to realize this is the real deal. We are here. So anyway, tonight what I wanted to talk about, okay, I just want to show you here, 1 Samuel 17. We're looking at the story of David and Goliath. And I'm not going to go into all the details. I'm just going to read a little section of it. Bear with my reading, okay? But as I'm listening to these videos today, or listening to these programs, and this guy's sitting here running this down, and all of a sudden I said, "Oh, this sounds like David and Goliath to me." And I'm going to read just a little bit of this 1 Samuel 17 here, and I'm going to pause and I'm going to make some commentary. But then I want to talk to you all and ask you, because I got a 34-hour restart that I'll be doing here in a couple days, because that's the way I work my hours. I try to drive, get close to my 11 hours out until I get close to running out of hours, and I take my 34-hour restart. All right. Verse 42, and when the Philistines looked about and saw David, he disdained him, and for he was but a youth and ruddy, and of a fair countenance. And the Philistines said unto David, Am I a dog that thou comest to me with staves? And the Philistine cursed David by his gods. And the Philistine said to David, Come to me, and I will give thy flesh unto thy fowls of the earth and of the beast of the field. Now, a couple things I want to say. The Philistines, for the longest time, I didn't really understand what a Philistine is. But this planet is covered with many Philistines. What Philistine is, if you look the definition up in the sword, is the way I interpret it is they believe something other than what the Bible actually says, what the King James Bible says. So Philistines are numerous throughout the earth. Now, the next thing I wanted to let's go ahead and read verse 44. Then said David Philistine, Thou comest to me with a sword, and with a spear, and with a shield. But I come to thee in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom thou hast defied. This day will the Lord deliver thee into mine hand, and I will smite thee, and take thine head from thee, and I will give the carcasses unto the host of the Philistines this day, unto the fowls of the air, and to the wild beasts of the earth, and that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel. And all that assembly shall know, and all this assembly shall know that the Lord saveth not with sword and spear, for the battle of the Lord, and he will the Lord's, and he will give you into our hands. And it came to pass when the Philistine arose and came and drew nigh to meet David, that David hastened and ran toward the army to meet the Philistine. And David put his hand into his bag and took thence a stone, and slang it, and smote the Philistine in his forehead. And the stone sunk into his forehead, and he fell upon his face to the earth. All right, now, here's where I want you all to participate in this. I'm asking you, do you want me to break this down? Okay? Because when I say this run through my mind, this sounds like the story of David and Goliath. Okay? There's a whole lot of other scriptures that go along with that. Okay? I can show you, and I won't do it tonight because I want to know if you all want to actually start learning the truth. This is the only channel you're going to learn the in-depth knowledge that I share with you all. Okay? But I can show you in the Bible where a person can represent a city can represent a person, a nation can represent a person, a person can represent a nation. One person can represent many people can represent one person. Now, this Goliath, okay, had this attitude like he was just going to pulverize David and it was going to be just a simple battle. Okay, and I'm not getting into the whole story of it, okay? But I read enough of it that you can tell that's what Goliath is saying. The United States and Israel, being Goliath, thought we was gonna kick Iran's butt really easy. Wasn't gonna be anything hard, kind of like what they thought they did in Venezuela. They thought maybe it was going to be something similar to that in Iran. But it's been what? Day 9, going on day 10? The war's going on, and Iran has not backed down in the least little bit, even though they killed their supreme leader, which now they've, the way I understood it, today the supreme leader's son is in his position. And do you think this guy's going to bow down to the United States? I mean, that first strike killed his wife and his dad. Do you think he's going to say, okay, well, all right, well, maybe, no. You made this guy mad. But we got to look at this from a spiritual perspective. Okay, remember, everything in the King James Bible is spiritual. It is not physical. It is not carnal. And it definitely is not exactly how it said. It's not going to happen just like it says it's going to happen. Just like me being in the belly of the earth for 3 days and 3 nights, that was me spiritually being in a coma 3 days and 3 nights. I wasn't in the belly of the earth for 3 days and 3 nights, but spiritually I was. Coma is next to dead. Almost 30 years later, I was baptized with the Holy Ghost. Luke 3. Jesus was about 30 years old when he got baptized. Yeah, I'm paraphrasing. I'm not saying it verbatim. Nothing happens as it says. The woman with the 5 husbands. I met her in New Mexico. Talked to her for 6 hours. And I stated it in, I can't remember which book I said. I want to say probably in the 4th book. Jesus is here, precept 4. But I said it's like things are happening backwards. Isaiah 46:10, God says, I'm the Lord declaring the end from the beginning. And while I was coming to the understanding of what all this meant, one of the books, I think it was book 4, I said it's like everything's happening backwards. It's like we're going back to the beginning. Okay? Because yes, I've known I was Jesus for a long time, but it's just because you all don't believe I am and all still reject me, doesn't change the facts. I am who I am. It's going to stay that way. It's not going to change, no matter what you think. I've tried to quit many times. Yeah, I learned obedience. Hebrews 5:7 through 9. I've been learning obedience through the things I suffer. Yeah, I've wanted to quit. I've told the Father I've quit numerous of times, more times than I can count on everybody's hands that I've taught you in my lifetime. I told him I quit. Find someone else. But he keeps reminding me, no, this is going to happen. And, that can go into the being a prisoner of Jesus Christ and all that good stuff. I'm not going to go into all that. All right. But I want to ask you all if you want me to break this down for you, because I do believe we are kind of looking at that. See where the right here. Look at this. Look at Iran. Now the United States has put crippling sanctions on Iran for the last 47 years. Kept them away from technology, kept them away from everything. Iran has prevailed through all that. And there's one guy was on this one thing I was listening to. He was talking about this new Seahawk or Ford missile, you know, the arsenal that they got built up, and everything that they got going on is not nearly as technically advanced as the stuff that we got. They don't have near as big as bombs as we do. They don't have the planes that we do. They don't have the navy that we do. They don't have nothing like we do. So when you relate it to like David and Goliath, David was just this little young boy going up against this giant. United States and Israel being that giant. Look at this little big country of Israel or Iran, that Iran. that everybody has put crippling sanctions, well, the United States and Israel has put crippling sanctions on them and kept them from being able to participate with the rest of the world, more or less. But they have prevailed through that and still have built up a humongous arsenal. No, they don't have the big fancy stuff that we got, but yet they don't spend near as much money on the stuff that does a good significant amount of damage. They don't spend near as much money on that. So while they're got their defense shields put up, I put things underground and everything where we can't tell where it's at, they have established themselves to withstand. And it's like a lot of the stuff I've listened to, all Iran has to do to win this is not stop existing. Their regime, however you want to say it, I don't want to call it I don't even really know what the meaning of regime means. Remember, I'm the foolishness of this world. Okay? I look at everybody with the same cross. They bleed the same blood. They breathe the same air. They walk on the same earth as we do, and they're suffering. We're suffering. Everybody suffers in their own way. If you suffer, you're reigning with Christ. Remember? I'm not going to show you that word in the scriptures that talks about that. If ye suffer, you reign with Christ. Okay? All right, but now look at this. I think tomorrow when the markets open up, the oil prices are going to go up because they have done what they said they would do. They pretty much closed the Strait of Hormuz. They're not letting ships go through, and except a few, there's still a few going through it, but it's not nearly what's been supposed normally goes through there. It's not happening. Insurance rates went through the roof. Uh, they're hitting us where it hurts. How hard is this hit going to be? And this is not even with them throwing one stone. I mean, yeah, okay, they're still throwing some. They've set like nine ships on fire. They said I don't know exactly how they've done it, or I think they said they've attacked like nine ships, maybe more, that have tried to go through there. But it's like Iranian ships are still going through there, and Chinese ships, I guess, are still going through there. But it don't got near the flow as it was supposed to have, and not none of the ships are moving like they was supposed to. Okay, this had a crippling effect right there. This is going to trickle down. Okay, but how far or how much can people handle? Okay, the United States and Israel thought they was going to go in there and get the Iranians to rise up against their own people by going in there and bombarding and assassinating their supreme leader. But actually, what they've done is it got those people to actually bind in together. But now think about this. With them crippling the oil market and the shipping market, because when the the United States blew up this Navy ship, well, I understand it, now they've opened the region of the battleground, which now the insurance rates go out further than just where around the Strait of Hormuz. Because the United States is obviously willing to bomb ships way away from Iran. So, as that one guy said, did the United States just torpedo the shipping industry or whatever it was? Okay. Put all this together, we, the United States and Israel, are we the ones that's going to start turning on one another? Because when the financial burdens really start ripping through the household, and they will, remember, this is all being, see, y'all got to understand, this is being done by the Father. This is a biblical war, but it has nothing to do with the country or nation of Israel. They are no more than fellow servants, fellow vessels of God. But that's that little country over there that has a population, supposed to have a population of 10 or 12 million people, is not the Holy Land. I wasn't here 2,000 years ago, as it says in Hebrews 9:26. I only appear once in the end of the world. That's not the Holy Land. The whole earth. God breathed life into everybody. So that means part of God is walking on every part of this earth that people live in. That means every bit of the earth is the Holy Land. But y'all can't understand that because you can't wrap your minds around anything but what you already think you think you know already. And what you know can't be changed. Once you think it, oh, it must be fact. No, it's not. It took the Father years to get me to understand this. And I bring this understanding to you all in the books. Now, I'm getting way off topic. Okay? Look how small Iran is. Look how big the United States is. Look how little money Iran's had with the crippling sanctions that the United States has put on for the last 47 years. Look how much all the stuff that we're advanced with and everything. The United States and Israel, in this perspective, is Goliath. Don't underestimate Iran because what they're doing is going to devastate everybody. That little bitty country over there that the United States thought they could obliterate so easily is still standing pretty strong, pretty firm. And they haven't backed down on their confidence of being able to withstand us. They don't think they can beat us, which they, okay, yeah, we're a lot bigger, we're a lot more advanced than they are because of the crippling sanctions we've done to them, but they can stand their ground. Are they, spiritually perspective, from a spiritual perspective, are they David? So what I want you all to do, I want you all to let me know. Do you want me to show you where, break this down, where one person, I can break it all down, where a person can represent a nation, a person can represent a city, vice versa, city, nation, city a person, nation a person. One person can represent many, many people can represent one. You want me to break all this down and go into a further lesson with it, showing you biblically how to look at this as I'm not saying this is I'm not saying the fathers told me, yeah, that's the battle of David and Goliath. But it did come to my conscience while I was listening to this, and it's just like, so I can see this from a David and Goliath perspective, with Iran being David. So I want to know if you all want me to break this down. That's what I've been waiting for years to do, is teach. But it's like the video I made a couple nights ago. I've had one person watch it. There's 2 views on it. One of those views is mine, which I go on there. I'll confess, I give my videos a thumbs up. All I'm trying to do is boost the algorithm up because no one ever comes to my channel yet. It's coming. Like the Father had me say in the 7th book, I think you're all going to have to see a lot of death and destruction. And I don't mean death and destruction what you're seeing on Iran. You're going to see that death and destruction hit home. Yeah, it might be in another country, but it might be your son or daughter that's in the military fighting for the United States or Goliath that winds up getting hurt or killed. Or something of the matter. But he had me say it. I think it's going to take death and destruction. That's what he had me say in the 7th book. It's going to be death and destruction before you all start really seeking me out. And I don't mean death and destruction of a few people, a few hundred people, or a few thousand. I'm not even talking a few million. We're talking a billion. Okay. When you actually start to learn what the scriptures actually teach, only a third of the population of the world will rise. The rest will die. The rest will die. I can go into the scriptures, show you there will be 7 months of us burying people. That's what's coming. And I think it's going to happen over a short time. Yeah, I think there will be a nuclear war. We can go into the book of, oh, is it Joe or Nehemiah? No. Where it talks about the burning out of their sockets and so forth. I think that's nuclear war. Remember, the Bible is a lesson book. It's not a history book. It didn't happen in the past. As I had showed in the seventh book, a lot of the stuff in the Old Testament's getting ready to happen to us, and it's coming upon us pretty quickly. All right. Well, anyway, give me your feedback. Subscribe to the channel. Share the videos. Share my channel. This is the only channel you're going to find the true biblical truth. I am the only way to the Father. Okay? Yes. You're going to get a lot more out of the books, but I'm hoping to make some more videos because I'm actually yeah, I drive a lot, but I don't think I know I'm not writing anymore until the next chapter of my life starts. That's all I'm going to cover on that. I've talked about it enough, but I'm not going to go into detail about that. Let me know. Do you all want me to do a video? I'm asking for you to participate in this a little bit. Do you want me to do a video and show you how I can relate this to being show you in the scriptures how I can relate Iran, being a nation, can be David. The United States, Israel, can be Goliath. We could be witnessing that battle right now. I'm not saying the Father's told me that's what it is, but at minimum, he has told me or has had me think, okay, he has told he has told me that this can be counted as the battle of David and Goliath, and I could show you all this in the scriptures. That's why I'm asking if you all want to see this. I can relate it, I can see it, I can understand it. Do you want me to show you in the scriptures how break that down for you? Give me your commentary. I'd really like to hear some feedback. Let me know what you think. I'm out.